Welcome back to Bond SCX. This is week 32, August 8th through August 12th. This is Lance the Bargain Stock Bounty Hunter back at you again with another great plays of the week video. So if you're new to the channel, I want to show you how I explain how I do my picks. So I do a scanner over the weekend, and in that scanner, in this program, I dump all the respective stocks and companies into. It shows me a trend, whether it's going in a good or bad direction. Anything 4, 6, or 8 is really strong upward trend. Anything -4, -6, -8 is a strong downward trend. Also pulls out a true value for me. Helps to display whether I'm buying a stock above or below price. Helps me to stay below that price as much as possible, which is kind of where you want to be. Don't like to buy stocks above true value, so I try to sticking with stocks below true value. So this kind of is an X marks the spot, and then I go to the charts, which I use Thinkorswim on TD Ameritrade to actually pull out some of the best stocks for the week. So before we get started, let's go ahead and look into the market. So I like to look at, particularly like to look at the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. These are two bigger markets that I like to look at. They give me a lot more information than some of the others, but so this is what I like to start out with. And so looking at the NASDAQ, and looks pretty good coming into this week. You see that we're pretty much out of the worst part, the danger zone where we were really in June for the most part. We've pulled back out of that more in a bullish pattern, which is really good. You can kind of see it's getting really close to what I like to call the cake range, is what I put on here. This is the stronghold of the market. This is where the price wants to be based on historical patterns. And you can also see this green kind of line here, which I use as a trend line. This is the SMA, the simple moving average. And this is, I use a 180-day simple moving average. A lot of stock traders use the 50-day SMA, and a lot of them use the 200-day SMA. I use the 180-day SMA. It's just a better view for me than the 50 or the 200-day. So as we look into the coming week, you see this SMA getting really close to the price action, and that is a great point to be at. We want to see if it's going to resist the SMA like we saw here in March, or we want to see if it's going to support the SMA like it did back in October of last year and almost here in December, right? So this is a great opportunity to see if it's going to explode past the SMA or resist and come back down on the SMA. So this is a great point to be at. So I would say in this week coming up, see the markets kind of flattening out a little bit. By Friday, it may push into this cake range, which would be great. Looks like it's resisting slightly last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So maybe a little bit of a pullback and then a push through. So I would expect the market to be by Friday on the NASDAQ composite between 12,440 to about the 12,627 range. So that's kind of my prediction there for the NASDAQ. Going into the New York Stock Exchange, very similar. It's already in the cake range, as you see in between the purple lines here. You see where the market is here, where it ended Friday. Getting out of this danger zone where we were projected it would be back here, and definitely was really concerned that this would fall through. It did a couple times here in June and July. Looks like we're out of the worst part, but it does seem like we're still close to where it could come back down. So I would say you see a very similar thing with the SMA, resistance, resistance, resistance. We're ready to see this get really close to here, see if it's going to really push through, see if the investors want to push it through the SMA or going to pull it back and resist it. So looks like by Friday, it's in a good bullish pattern here. Been very high above the green Williams alligators bar. So the indicators I use on my charts are the Williams alligator, Williams fractal, and also use the MACD as my oscillator here. And so looking at for Friday, I'm looking at 15,110 to between 15,330, 330. So somewhere around that range, I expect the market to be at Friday. So let's look at the plays of the week. Ran through a lot of stocks. Seen quite a few this week, and a lot of strong movers coming into this week. You can see Viasat, Nike, Tesla, Apple moving very strong coming into this week. Netflix, US Steel, but none of them are underpriced. They're all overpriced, as you can see here. And this is the gap. This is the dollar amount that they're above price. So I'm going to scan on down the list a little bit. The first one that kind of popped up on the radar for me was HP INC. HPQ is the ticker. It comes in at a trend of a 4, which is a pretty good trend. As you can see, it's indicate and highlighted this as indicate, which is between the bottom and lower bands here. And so we're looking at a movement of a 4 coming in 74 cents overpriced and true value of $32.85. So let's see what potential HPIC has on the charts this week. And it's kind of why I want to pull this one out. More of a short-term holder on this one. I don't see a long-term play just because it's already in the cake range. You really want to buy them below the cake range. It is below the SMA, as you can see here. It is below the SMA. Looking at a 1 year, 1 day, and you kind of see how it's teeter-totter over the SMA here, exploded above it, blew through the cake range, stayed above the cake range, used the cake almost as support here for the majority of December to June. You see a strong pullback in the market. You see the volume just kind of really pulling back down here. You can also see that here in the SMA. I'm sorry, in the MACD. And now you start to see a little bit more build up, a little bit more momentum, pulling the market back up. Pulling the stock back up. You do see a couple call outs I made a couple weeks back, and then last week it did not come down to my price point. It did hit Daz's price point though at 32.30 last week. I don't think he got in as I talked with him last week, but still it's oscillating right into this progressive zone here. And so I would say this week, potentially, don't know for sure if it'll come down to 31.75, which is my buy rating here. I just kind of moved it up from 31.20 to 31.75. I do feel like it's going to do a pullback at some point. And so I think this week is a great opportunity if it pulls back. 31.75 is not a bad price point with the potential to get out by Friday. Let's see, Friday, 31.75, getting out by Friday, somewhere around the 33.13 range, 33.65 range, possibly 4%, maybe 5% range if you get out by Friday. But I do see a nice little pattern here. I do see the teal has crossed the blue. Good sign. Green has crossed the blue. Red hasn't quite crossed the blue yet, so it hasn't gone full bullish mode. It's just really riding and supporting this green EMA bar, green EMA line that is part of the Williams alligator indicator. So I wouldn't say this is full bullish yet. So definitely wait for this one to come back down to 31.75. Even if it comes below true value, still good price point. So not bad. So this red line here, it's kind of hard to see with all the lines here, but this red line here is the true value mark here. And this is my buy rating here, 31.75. So that's what I'm going into HPQ this week is at 31.75. So next on the list, going down a little bit more, I have Fisker Automotive highlighted. Fisker comes in at a trend of a 2, so slight upward trend over the last month. Not a very strong upward trend, but definitely something that caught my radar. But it's only 8 cents over value at this point, coming in at a true value of $10.09. Market ended Friday at $10.17. And so let's look at Fisker and look at the charts. I never called this one out before. Don't know a whole lot about this company. Looks like it has about 336 employees, been around since around, I think, 2016. A fairly new company for the most part. Looking at 1 year, 1 day, and you kind of see back from last year, this time last year, this one had a pretty stable trading pattern here. Don't see a lot of manipulation this year, but you do see a lot of it back in the last year. So you see the price really jumped up above, hit the high of $23.75. And ever since then, and has been in a downward, slow downward pattern. Got really flat somewhere around the February, February to April timeframe. One thing I want to point out, again, I like to use this SMA, this green trend line here, kind of a good marker for where the price kind of likes to kind of support or resist. You see a lot of resistance here on the SMA, pretty much resistance here. Did pop above here in November, December timeframe, but it didn't really show real support. You know, it jumped above and it came right back down. And then we see another resistance here, strong resistance here to the SMA on April 4th. And so again, you see another opportunity for this to jump up and attack the SMA, as I like to call it, and see if it's going to pull through and jump above, which it'll launch it above and it should come down and support it. Or let's see if it comes up and resists it back down. It did show, it did have earnings call, looks like Wednesday. And looks like they 36 cents, so about 4 cents. They lost about 4 cents less than they projected to lose on their earnings per share. You see the volume really tick up. And so this is what I like to call manipulation. So any unnormal, unusual volume is actually a sign of something that is not a true price point, and I like to call that manipulation. So when you see this normal volume range is around 4, looks like about 4, anywhere between 2 and 4 million is about normal trading volume. But you look here on Wednesday, you see 6 million shares, a little bit out of the normal. Then you see a lot of people get excited about it the next day and jump in and like you got 11 million shares coming in. And then on Friday, you see 9 million shares. So this is a great opportunity to capture some of this manipulation. So my price point here for Fisker this week is $9.30. I do see somewhat of a pullback just because of the manipulation that's happened. Don't see full coverage coming in yet. So I think this bar here needs to be covered. And again, it does have a nice little progressive upward path, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it comes back down a little bit further. But I do like it at 930, definitely for a longer haul where you actually buy in at 930. You see a little bit of a pullback here in the MACD. You can get in a little bit more at $9, just kind of average down as you go. I think Fisker Automotive, with some of the green energy bill that's being passed, with this being an electric car company, should help. And so it should get investors real excited. And then you can kind of see since June there has been some more excitement about this company. So since Friday, I would say beware of the manipulation. It hasn't fully covered the manipulation, so it could come down a little bit more, see that coverage, and then take off. It could just really launch off from here. We're really close to getting to this SMA point. I'd like to see what it's going to do in the next couple of weeks once it hits that point. All right, moving on to the next one. And next call out this week is Carnival. Carnival comes in at a trend of a 2, slight upward trend, about a quarter overvalued, coming in at a true value of $9.58. So let's go to the charts and see what Carnival shows us. And Carnival is a company I really like. and been calling out quite a bit here lately. As you can see, this stock has been at 27.39 back in September of last year, almost the same time frame last year. See a lot of resistance on the SMA. Look at that, just repetitive resistance on the SMA. Very, very tight cake range. You really can't use this as a great indication in this point, because around this point of November, this range will drop down some. So if you look at, move that mark here. If you look at some uncovered manipulation, you've got uncovered manipulation at $20.17, going all the way back to April. You got some more uncovered manipulation at from June 9th, at about $12.82. And so you look at the price point, $8.77 is my call out. Called out 860, came out right down to my range, loaded up here, but you can also see how much more growth potential this has. It's really riding this low progressive band here. And you look at the Williams alligator bars, they're really close together. Haven't quite crossed the blue. That's the only thing I'd caution is it does seem to be resisting the blue Williams alligator EMA line. So you see that, let me zoom in just a little bit more. You see that resistance here. You see it here. And you see a little bit almost resistance here. So I would say definitely has an opportunity to pull back down. I believe at $8.77, I think you could still get in this week with Carnival with a long-term hold. You do see the MACD cross on a downward side. So it's just a little bit of momentum going in the opposite direction. Doesn't mean the price necessarily will go in the opposite direction. It's just a buildup of, it's just this losing volume. So not as many shares are being traded. It's coming into these last few days. As you can see, slower. So it's going to draw that MACD down some. So see if the momentum will start to pick back up with volume, and that would actually hopefully bring the price back up as well, getting more investors excited about Carnival Cruise Line. So $8.77 is where I'm going in with Carnival this week. The long-term hold and some uncovered manipulation to potential to get out at $12.82. If you do want to see by Friday, I would think by Friday, easily $9.78 potentially by Friday to $10.52. So you could possibly make anywhere between 9 and 10%, or possibly 19% this week if it does max out at 10.52. So good opportunities with Carnival Cruise Line this week. I really like this one. Next on the list is Meta. So coming in at a trend of a 2, called this one out last week as well. And 19 cents overpriced, so not too bad. It's almost right at true value. So coming in at true value of $166.92. So let's look at Meta on the charts. So Meta is obviously formerly Facebook. And man, just looking at the 1 year, 1 day, this chart tells a whole lot. And you can see how much volume has started to come into this company at the start of the year. I mean, February, and you're looking at 188 million shares, trading at $246 to $236 range. I mean, that is crazy amount of volume. You can see the potential uncovered manipulation from that volume, and where this hasn't even been covered, meaning this price point has not been matched since that point. And so some could argue that, hey, it's never going to come back to that point. Some could argue that it will. And you can see from that point on, it's been definitely a downward spiral for Meta. Definitely see a lot of volume still hanging in there. And so I think there's still a great opportunity at this price point. These are really great prices, considering the fact that this, if you believe the stock is at least, if you look at the lower band of the cake, if you think it's a $256 stock, you can definitely make almost $100 more than where it's at today. So it's a great opportunity to get into Meta. Do you see the MACD pull back down with the volume? So it's slowing down on the volume. And so you look at some manipulation. Don't see a lot of manipulation here in the last week. Definitely see some back here, but all that's been covered. So I would say call this one out, and we called this one out last week at 154.91. See, came right down to my price point here and came actually above where I projected it to be Friday. So actually great gains last week if you were able to get in. I did not get in last week. We're looking at about 10% roughly in 5 days. So not a bad week. So if you were able to get in at 154.91 last week, good for you. If you're holding, I would say be advised that it could pull back down. You do see some resistance on the blue, and then this yellow regression line here. You see a little bit of a pullback on that as well. So I will feel real comfortable this week. Meta at 157.25 with potential by Friday for this one to be at 163.51 to the 170.07 range. So still great price points. Again, we'll hope the volume would come back and pull this one back up. And again, if you didn't get in last week, definitely a good opportunity to get in this week at 157.25 is my price point. So moving into the next one, got Robinhood, another one I've called out pretty steadily these last few weeks, last month. And so you've got trend over to another slight upward trend coming in at 45 cents overpriced. So the true value for Robinhood stock is $9.95. Close today Friday at $10.40. So I see a little bit of a pullback with Robinhood potential. I'm not too late. This one has had a steady, slow climb. So I'm not going to go back into the history on Robinhood. We all kind of know what that is if you watch the videos. But I do feel like Robinhood this week coming in, see definitely a nice, again, slow upward trend. Did have earnings report last week. It reported a loss of 34 cents on a projected 36 cents per share. So actually two cents better than projected. You see what that did to the investors. And went very manipulated the next day with 37 million shares trading at $9.36 to the 10.26 range. And we're looking for that price point to be covered, right? So that is manipulation of price. That means this price that it started out with should come back down and cover that price again, because those that bought in got other people excited, and they started to sell out, and it brings the price back down to cover where it should have been, right? So that's what manipulation and coverage means, is that it pushed the price up to get other people excited, and now they're pulling the price back down because a lot of the people who bought at the $9 range are selling out at the top here, right? And so they want to get out so they can come back and buy it again, right? So that's called manipulation, and coverage of manipulation is coming back down to that same price point that the manipulation started at. So I project by this week, I believe you can get in. The one thing I do want to say with Robinhood, we do see, again, I know this is manipulation from last Wednesday, but you do see this started to jump above the teal EMA, right? That's the exponential moving average. And we'd like to see the price action, price bars be above that. That is a great indication of strength and also of bullish behavior. But we also see the green, red, and blue all in order, right? So when you look at the Williams alligator, as far as an indicator, this is the order that you want to see. You want to see the teal, which is the primary EMA, above the green EMA. And then we want to see it above the red EMA and the blue EMA. So all these are projected EMAs out into the future, okay? So this is projecting where the price point will be in the future. And we want to see this all stay in this order. That is that is bullish behavior. That is bullishness in the price. And so we see a lot of interweaving of those colored EMAs back here in the past, but now we see them fully opened up. And it's not a great, strong open up, but it's enough to say this should support on the green and keep going up, right? Another thing you want to see here, I like to look at again, is the SMA. This is really getting close to the SMA. This is really good signs, this price, for the price action and in this stock to actually explode or reject and resist this SMA. We really like to see what's going to happen here. This will be the first time for a 180-day SMA for Robinhood to actually see what it's going to do. It's been so far away from SMA. We're really excited to see what this price action is going to do as it gets close here. And is it going to explode above or come down below? And so one of the things I want to look at as well, the MACD looks pretty good here. You see the volume is starting to, again, it picked up because of the earnings call here. So you see the pickup in the MACD here. So I expect to see a little bit again of a pullback. So I feel real comfortable going in with Robinhood this week. My call out for Robinhood is $9.18 with the opportunity by Friday of $9.74 to $10.66 to get out. So 918 is my call out for Robinhood this week. Next on the list, a couple more. So I got Delta, another company I called out recently, coming in at a trend over 2, slight upward trend, 81 cents overpriced. So it is still overpriced, but 32.13 is true value. So I think Delta this week can get in at a much cheaper price than where it's at today. Let's look at Delta 1 year, 1 day, and very nice price action. If you look at Delta over the last year, almost very predictable. You can project where it's going to be, and you can kind of see how it moves within the cake range. It likes to come down below support here, explode above, down below here, explode above the cake. So once it goes through the cake, it likes to really explode to the 40 range. I mean, you can see consistently 44, 98, 44, 98, 44, 44, 44. So it's a great opportunity to get in, even for a longer hold. I will say I picked this one as a short-term one this week, just based on what I'm seeing with the MACD, seeing a little bit of a pullback, slowdown. But I do see this being bullish right now. It is strong above the SMA. It did not come down to my price point, unfortunately, last week. So we missed out on this one. It did jump above, stayed above. Actually did come down to true value briefly, looks like in the middle of the week. But it definitely exploded above my expected Friday price point. So I think this week, if it does come down to 30.70, I'm not 100% certain it will come down that low. But 30.70 is great buy range for me. I'm just looking at the progressive lines here. I'm just kind of tapping on that. Didn't tap not last week on it, but looks like it may pull back and tap down on the lower band. And at that point, at 30.70 is where I feel comfortable going at. It didn't cover this manipulation quite from 6.13. Got really close to covering it. So I expect it to definitely cover that manipulation this week, if not next week. So I'm getting real close to the lower band of the cake range. Also, you see the SMA starting to come down and starting to get closer to it as well. Probably more so in September. We'll see that opportunity of those two to either cross or reject each other. So 30.70 is where I'm going in with Delta this week. Next on the list, American Airlines. American Airlines comes in at a slow upward trend of a 2, 36 cents over price, coming in at 14.38 as a true value mark. So let's look at American Airlines, another airline company here. And get an opportunity to get into airline companies. One thing to note that the price of gasoline is coming down. And then you got, a lot of relaxation on some of the COVID policies from travel companies. I do have these pointed out as short term. Do think these prices could fall back down and get in at lower prices, so I wouldn't hold them very long, but that's just my projection. But looking at American Airlines, a little bit opposite than Delta. You see how it's really resisted the SMA quite a bit, pretty much going into last year. It kind of exposed above it a little bit, but not enough to call it support. So it's not supporting the SMA at all. It's just pretty much resisting the SMA. See coming up soon, we have another potential for an attack on the SMA, probably again another rejection, but it's getting real close to the MAC, not the MACD, but to the lower band of the cake range. So I would expect that it would explode through the SMA and get into this natural point of where the price wants to be. So the price wants to be between 629 and about 1796. And so I think this week you see the progressive lines here. See, I just tapping on the progressive lines and just kind of oscillating back through this path here. Do see the green, red, and the blue. Yep, all in order. And see the price action above the teal. I don't like the MACD. I do see the volume come slowing down in this price. In this momentum. So see a little bit slowing in momentum. I do think the price could come back down to 1386 this week. It does definitely think you could get out by Friday around 1435 to about 1481. So that's anywhere between 6 and 3.5%. So I think it's some good opportunity for American Airlines this week. If you decide you want to hold, I wouldn't be surprised that it wouldn't come down even further to about 1363. There's some uncovered manipulation, even going back to 7.5 on the downside to about 1278. So it's really much of a stretch for 1278, but more realistically, 1386, I feel like it can come down to at some point, but also 1365 as well. So I definitely want to watch this one a little bit, but 1386 is great value for this one this week. So that's where I'm going in with American Airlines. It's 1386. Next on the list is Sony. So Sony is a company I've never called out. So it's the first time I've called out. I've been scanning Sony for quite a while. Some companies are not as easy to jump into or find a great opportunity, but this one found it this week has a trend of a 2, 85 cents overpriced at a true value of $85.47. So let's look at the charts and see where we have opportunities with Sony this week. And looking at a 1 year, 1 day, Sony has been at a high of 133.75. And you can see a lot of volume coming in around January, February. You're looking at, 3 million shares. So this one normally trades around, looks like around 411,000, anywhere in the 500,000 range. So you're looking at almost 3-4 times as many shares traded in February and January. So see this one definitely a strong pullback, but you see within the last couple months since May, seen a little bit more stability here, a little more natural trading, not a whole lot of manipulation. So we'll say coming into this one, so see some support here at $80.03. See it's kind of tapped there, so support, tap there, tap there, tap there, tap there. So that's a great sign of support. I mean, it's not falling through. It's showing that, hey, once it gets to that price point, people are buying in and pulling that price back up. Don't see a lot of manipulation. You see some, let's say May 12th, that manipulation has been covered. Looking at the price point here, that was actually covered here. Then you see some manipulation here recently in July 29th. So you see about 1.7 million shares, 1.68 million, and 1.4 and 1.5. So back-to-back days here, a lot more volume coming in, pulling the MACD up, which is a great sign. But when you look at that, you see the manipulation happen, and you see, hey, we've got some uncovered manipulation at the 84, 83 range. And price has been moving steadily here. See the green, red, and blue all in order, teal above. But you do see some resistance here, and I want to point that out. You see it July 21st. See it tries to pull up, comes back down, tries to push through, comes back down, tries to push through, come back down. So August 28th, I'm sorry, July 28th, and then August 3rd, then also Friday. We said August 5th, we see the same resistance. So I think with seeing that kind of resistance there, with all the manipulation, I would expect to see that this price to pull back down some. I think 83.92 is a great price to get in. Then by Friday, you get out by 85.58. So you're looking at potentially almost 2% to 4% by Friday. You could definitely hold Sony. So Sony is not going anywhere as a company or a business. I think knowing that it's well below the SMA, well below the stronghold of the stock, with the lower band price point being at $101, getting in and holding this one, great opportunity. Wouldn't be surprised if it did come back down to $80.03 again in the near future. It did have earnings report very recently, and they actually made almost 30 cents more than projected. So $1.30 per share, which kind of catapulted the volume and all the manipulation here. So again, once the excitement kind of dies down, we'll see this manipulation be covered. And that's where I'll be ready to go in and buy some at that point. Again, with the expectation that this one would definitely be a long term, and you could definitely expect this one probably come back down to $80 to the $79 range. So that's my call out for Sony this week. And then last but not least, got one more. I had a lot this week, so apologize for all the call outs, but just want to give you guys the best opportunities to get in this week. So American Battery, also known as ABML on the ticker. They also have changed their name to ABTC, American Battery Technology Company. Has a flat trend coming in from all the prices from the month as I pull into my data in the background. It's about 6 cents over price, very close to the true value mark of 78 cents. So 78 cents is the true value mark. If you haven't looked at our ABML company breakdown video, please check that out. This company has a lot of potential for the future. They are into the battery recycling business, and if we are thinking that there's going to be more electric vehicles, more electric products in the future, this company will be one of the companies potentially that could actually be in the recycling of those batteries, so that we don't put all that battery acid into the earth. And so looking into ABTC, also known as ABML. And so this company has been trading very much below $1 for a lot of this year. And going back into last year, we saw a high of $1.95. But also let's look at the SMA. And we see, again, this one does not want to show the SMA as support, but also resist the SMA consistently. And so see a little bit of a push through on the SMA back in April. We actually called this one out. Me and Daz called this one out back on March 29th, right when this one was starting to really turn bullish. And you can see here, it did not come down or even close to our price point, didn't even come below true value, stayed strong. And you can see this one went pretty much in that week, not in that week, but in 2 weeks, In 10 days, it went 70%. So a lot of manipulation again in the stock on that during that time period. And so let's go a little bit closer, and we can see support here going all the way back to March 31st at this 64-cent range. So coming into the last few weeks, last month, definitely consistent support here at that range. And then we see a lot of volume come in on the 4th, last Thursday. And you see the price actually just really climb. So from Wednesday through Friday, 3 days, 23%, and buying in at 70-cent range. So this one trades on the OTC market. So it doesn't trade on the NASDAQ, doesn't trade on the NYSE. And this one, you can buy this on TD Ameritrade, but you can't buy this one on Robinhood. So if you're trading on Robinhood or maybe Webull, you probably will not find, you definitely won't find on Robinhood, but you probably won't find it on Webull as well, because that one's not trading. It's not trading on one of the primary stock markets. So a little known company. I do think you can get in at 71 cents. I do think the manipulation from Wednesday will be covered. You do see this one going full bullish for the most part and very strong. And then you look at historical trend. It looks like this one will potentially cross the SMA or attack the SMA. Let's say that it's going to attack the SMA somewhere around August 12th, which is this week, or potentially next week. So I would say definitely some opportunity this week to see this one come and attack the SMA. Will it blow through it? Don't know. Will it pull back? I would project it will pull back just because of some of the manipulation here. So definitely think some opportunity with ABML, ABTC at 71 cents this week, with the potential by Friday, 76 cents, potential 82 cents. So definitely an opportunity to make anywhere between 7-15% in a matter of a week, pretty easily if it can come back down to that range. So that's all I have for this week. Definitely a lot of good opportunities. Definitely still good time to get into the stock market. Don't feel like you're too late. There's so much growth opportunity. And I wouldn't say we're completely out of the clear as far as recession-wise or as far as full stock market crash. I wouldn't say we're completely out of that potential. I think we're in a better place for sure, though. So thanks for joining me, and I hope you continue to watch the videos. Thanks for the new subscribers for joining. Please share the videos. I think I'm bringing good information out. I've been doing this for quite a while, so haven't put them on YouTube for a while. Just started doing that this year, but I've been scanning stocks, doing the same plays of the weeks for friends and family for going back over 2 to 3 years. So been doing this for quite a while. So again, thanks for joining me. Keep watching the videos. Please like and subscribe. Please share, and good luck trading this week. Thanks for joining.